Welcome to Thoughts Off the Stem. Thanks for joining the sesh with me, Justin Barone. I hope you're having a good day, good week, good month, good year. That's right. I hope life's being good to you. So I spend a lot of time, obviously, because I do a podcast, I spend a lot of time on Facebook in podcasting groups to see what I can do better, how I can improve the show, what I can, what kind of things I'm not doing that I need to start doing, things like that. And I've noticed that there's like this common thread of people that want to start a podcast, but they have no idea how to do it. So I was thinking to myself, I've done this for 5 years. I just did an episode about, thanking people for listening and watching. And it got me thinking, why don't I pass on some of my information, some of the things that I've learned? So I figured for the next few seshisodes, I'm going to do a little series on how to podcast, or at least what you need to know to start a podcast. It's not going to be like one of those crazy ones where you're all set up and I'm going to tell you about all this like crazy tech stuff. I'm just going to tell you the essentials of what you need to know to do a podcast. Because I started with not knowing anything other than listening to podcasts and being like, I think I could do that. Having an interest in radio and television broadcasting, and having wanted to do that for a very long time since high school. And with technology now, you have the opportunity to do it with a very minimal, if no investment at all, just your time, right? So that's what I figured this sesh would be. This is going to be episode 1 of how to start a podcast. So there's 5 things that you need to know about starting a podcast. You need to decide on what you're talking about. You need to know what equipment you need, which is going to be minimal. You need to understand how the hosting works and where to put your podcast. You have to figure out distribution, but that kind of goes with the hosting. So that's like a 2-for-1. And then your expectations, because I think everybody's expectations when they want to do a podcast is a little bit more grandiose than what the real opportunity is. So you want to start a podcast. Good for you. You came to the right place, because I'm going to tell you how to start a podcast. And I'm going to tell you from my experience, obviously. So in these Facebook groups, I see a lot of people that say, well, I'm thinking of starting a podcast and I don't really know what to do and I don't know how to do it and I don't know where to do it. All you need is your phone. That's it. Technology is so advanced now that that's literally, you don't need to invest anything else. And you have to remember, in the beginning, podcasting is literally an audio form. It's an audio art form. Right? It's not, video can come. I know that I have video, but that came over time. You just need to focus on starting simple. It's like my dad always used to say to me, he used to do these sales seminars where he'd wear this KISS hat. So when you were trying to sell him something and he was training you, if you were going over in your explanation or explaining too much, he'd put the KISS hat on because it stood for keep it simple, stupid. Right? So that's what you that's the way you gotta look at it. So a lot of people, when they start thinking about, I want to do a podcast, they overload what their idea of a podcast is or what it takes to start a podcast. Literally, all you need is your phone. Okay? There are a multitude of different hosting platforms that you can also upload and save your episodes for free. You don't have to pay. That's the beauty of it, is that it is so simple now to just make it a hobby, start out as a hobby. Once you start to gain some traction, then you can move forward. But start here, start at the very basics. Take your phone, okay? Start recording yourself. You know how you have the voice notes? Record 20 minutes on a voice note. That's all you got to do is take your concept, your idea, what you want to talk about, and put it in a voice note. Save that voice note so that when you're ready and you re-listen to it, you can, once you find your hosting and all that, then you can upload an already complete episode. Okay, so that's the first thing you need. You need your phone. The second thing that you need is you need to decide what you want to talk about. Now, everybody on the planet thinks that if they're going to do something like this, they have to be like crazy original. They have to come out of the box swinging. They have to do massive numbers. You don't. And that's generally not the way it works. What you're going to see when you start doing this is that your emphasis on how well you're doing will come from other podcasts where you've been listening. You're like, well, why don't I have the numbers they have? You don't have those numbers because you don't have the marketing team behind you. nor do you need that marketing team, really. What you need is a solid concept, a solid idea, and the ability to stay consistent over the course of time. Okay? If it's something that you really want to do, even if it's just a hobby, just take your time with it. It doesn't have to skyrocket. Some of them do, but they don't have to skyrocket. Don't put your expectation at what other people are doing. Put the expectation at, I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to record myself. I'm going to get better. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Those are the first 3 things that you kind of have to keep in mind. You need a phone. You need to find a hosting platform that's free that will distribute all of your podcast episodes everywhere to all the major apps, all the major platforms. Okay. You need to keep it all in perspective. It's a hobby. It's something that you're starting to do, that you're trying to have fun at, that you want to keep fun. Then you also have to decide what's going to be my posting schedule. So for me, for example, I do 1 episode a week. It takes me a little while, the editing and stuff, because you do end up editing it. But at the beginning, I didn't. I just recorded myself talking about my thoughts for 15 minutes. And then as I got more comfortable, the episodes kind of went a little longer. A lot of people get stuck on the concept that you have to have this, like I said, brilliant idea, that you have to come out of the gate swinging, that you have to reach this monumental episode listener number, right? You don't. You can start with 1 or 2 listeners, get some dedicated fans, keep going, keep producing. So I decided I would do mine every Friday at 4:20 because a lot of my content is either influenced by weed or it is focused on explaining or educating people on weed, as well as, some questionable jokes here and there. Okay. So that was sort of the niche that I picked. If you're looking for a niche that gets a lot more traction right off the bat, here are examples of the top. If you Google, you can find this, but here are the top niches in podcasting. One is comedy. So if you're a funny dude, maybe just like tell some jokes. They're not going to hit every time, but at least you have a lighthearted, positive thing that you could put out there for everybody to listen to. You could do news and politics if you're really into the state of the world and you want to follow along and give your opinion. You could do true crime. True crime is huge. I labeled an episode true crime once just to see how many views I would get. 200 views in under a couple hours just because it was called true crime. Now, the content was not a true crime story. It was just... it was about me watching a lot of true crime and investing all my time in this for like a week or so, and how that is a very big topic that people really want to hear more about because it's interesting, it's mysterious, it's scary sometimes. It fills that need for like controversy and violence and like mystery. So that's a good one. If you don't want to come up with your own idea and you want to come up with something that's already out, like out there, because the stories are out there, you just get the stories and then explain it. True crime is a good one because you have all these cases that are crazy. Like people are nuts, dude. So you can go that route with it and have, a story that that's already available that you're going to talk about. Business, if you're somebody that really enjoys or is really good at understanding how business works and how you can and you can educate people on what it takes to run or operate a business, that's also a good one. That's up there. Self-improvement is huge. Part of the podcast that I do is hopefully a little bit of personal growth and self-improvement, because a lot of the things that I talk about are daily instances. They're things that everybody deals with on a regular basis. I think. I can't be that far off. So that's a really good one, especially if you're a self-improvement coach. If you don't know what to talk about and you want to start it, that's a good way to go. Health and fitness, if you understand, the process of working out and how it affects people and you want to teach and motivate people, that's a good one. Society and culture, if again, that's a portion of what I do. you could talk about the things like I talked about in a podcast the other day, or a few episodes ago. I talked about how people walk around talking on their phone, on speakerphone, so that everybody can hear their conversation, which I think is rude as shit, and it's wrong. But I tried to make a joke out of it. Well, a lot of people roasted me for it. They didn't like that. I just assume those are people that walk around with their phone out and they're having a conversation with somebody that's not actually in front of them, you know? And then sports. If you're a big sports fan, dude, just do sports. Review the game from last night. It's not as hard as people think it is. You end up stopping yourself from doing something like this because you're overthinking the idea. Don't overthink the idea. Pick something that you enjoy and that you like and that you talk about on a regular basis with your friends, and then just do that in front of your phone. Because you don't have to invest money in this. You can just take your first few steps. Baby steps, right? Just baby steps, baby. So what equipment do you need? Realistically, you want to have a laptop to start. You want to have a phone. But you could do it on either a laptop or a phone, okay? I would say that you probably want to get Audacity, just because you can then edit the audio to make it sound more professional. And phone microphones aren't as bad as they used to be. So now you can actually get a pretty good quality sound just out of talking to your phone if it's on the table in front of you. That's probably the best way to start, because then you're not investing money. You're just using things you already have around the house, right? Now for hosting, there's a lot of different avenues that you can go for hosting. I started with Anchor, which is now Spotify for creators. It was perfect. You could literally record it right on there. You could edit it to a certain extent right on there, and then you could post it right from the app. So now if you want to do that, I would suggest obviously doing Spotify for creators, because it's the same principle, and you can just do it right there in front of you. It's pretty easy. And it's free. Also with Spotify, they distribute your podcast to all the podcast platforms. It's automatic in their service, right? And you have unlimited uploads. So that means that you can put up, like I've been doing 5 years, I have 200 plus episodes, and they're all up there. There are other platforms like Buzzsprout, Red Circle, Podbean, RSS.com. What else? Yeah, those are sort of the big ones. You can use Lisbon too, but for Buzzsprout, it's easy. It's easy to use, similar to Spotify. The downside to it is that you're limited in how many uploads you can actually have before you have to start paying to have more space. Red Circle is more of like if you want to monetize it. So I don't know. It's from what I understand, I haven't used a lot of these, but I've researched them because I do this, right? So Red Circle is one that's more for if you want to try and monetize it, then that's a good route to go. But they'll take a percentage, I believe. Podbean is really good as well, but again, it's limited in the amount of storage that you have. RSS.com is unlimited for local or niche shows. So I don't know how that works. You'd have to look it up. I was going to try and make up something, but I have no idea. But RSS.com is a good one, I think. And then obviously, like I said, Spotify for creators. My opinion is, if you're not at the monetization process, if you're not in the realm of being able to monetize anything like that yet, I would stick with just doing Spotify for creators, because in my opinion, it was the easiest way to do it. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. There's not a lot of guessing to it, and they don't have a lot of issues. So I think there's only been one time in 5 years where I've uploaded an episode and I've had an issue of waiting for it to. Actually, it wasn't even an episode. It was my analytics. Sometimes the analytics are a little slow coming through, but like at the beginning, you don't need that. What you need is you need to get comfortable in doing what you're doing first. And then, like I said, the other part is talking about distribution. Well, I don't know how the other ones distribute, but I would imagine that Buzzsprout, Podbean, RSS.com, they all send everything out for you, I believe. Again, research it, look it up. I'll put the links to them in the description of the video so you can just click on it and go there and do your own research. But if you go with Spotify, It actually gives you the ability to pick where you want it to go, and then it also distributes it for you to wherever you need it to go. Like it'll even distribute it to YouTube. So it's already built in that service. And again, you're not paying for it, so it's a great way to go. And then I guess the final point of the whole thing is your expectations. I know when I started, because like I said in the last session, I started during the pandemic. And in the pandemic, I got a lot of people paying attention to it. And I thought, man, I'm fucking good at this. Okay. But I neglected to think about the fact that everybody was trapped at home and they weren't allowed to go anywhere. So nobody had anything else to do other than entertain themselves, right? So I noticed that after the pandemic, I still had consistent listeners, but the volume of consistent listeners dissipated a little bit because people just move on, right? Like once you have the opportunity to leave the house, after you've been stuck in the house for 2 years, how do you expect yourself to want to listen to a 2-hour podcast every day? You want to go outside and experience the outside world because you've been locked up, I kind of understand how criminals feel. I think we all do to a certain extent. So those are the main categories. I think the biggest problem that people have in general is that they get in their own way. So like I said, when I'm on these Facebook groups and I'm seeing people in the podcast, in the what is it? I forget what it's called now. Oh, I've just had a brain fart. People that are in these podcast groups that want to start a podcast, they're overanalyzing what to do. Don't overanalyze it. If you think you have something to say, turn your phone on, like I said, record a voice note first. Just do it that way. That way you can get a catalog of things going. One of the recommendations of the industry, I guess, is that you don't launch with just one episode. I did that. It worked out fine. But again, everybody was trapped and they kind of had no choice, right? But now, because there's so many, there's over, I think, 2 million podcasts out there. Okay. Or maybe it's 4 now. I don't know, but there's a lot. You're going to get lost in the mix. Okay. So before you do anything else, it's best for you to record, let's say 5 15-minute episodes, audio only, then come up with the name of your podcast, figure out your hosting, your distribution, how you want to present yourself, and the subtleties of your brand, I guess you could say. But don't overthink it. You also have to just do it. That's a big part of anything like this, is just doing the damn thing. Okay? You don't have to worry so much about what the content is because you're not going to be that good at doing the thing yet. Okay? The content and the ability to be good at it will come as you practice. Like I was talking to my dad the other day and I was saying the same thing to him. Like before Christmas, before the new year, I had already done like 4 or 5 episodes in advance and then just had them release automatically so I could take some time off around Christmas to be with my family and stuff, right? Well, I found that when I came back in the new year to start recording, I was a little off. It wasn't as fluid or as good as I thought it was before, because it takes time to get back into that. It's like anything worthwhile. You have to it's the repetition. It's constantly doing it. And when you start to get into like a bigger, broader show and you start doing, the editing and video and all this stuff, it's the same thing. If you step away from it for even a week, you'll find that there are certain things that you don't remember, and you have to kind of relearn some of the programs and some of the processes again once you start going at it again. So just keep in mind that when you're starting out in the beginning, it's okay to fail. It's okay not to be good. It's okay to start at a low point and work your way up, right? That's life. If you're expecting things to hit right off the bat, I feel like you're probably going to be a little bit disappointed, and then that will cause you to stop doing it. The point of doing something like this is because you think it's going to be fun. So let it be fun to you. Do it the way that you want to do it, and give the audience that starts to build around you the thing that they want so that you can keep it fun for you and informative for them, right? Now, I'm in a bit of a different niche, I guess you could say, because I'm not always trying to educate people. A lot of the time, I'm trying to give my concept for the show, is that I can teach you a little bit about weed. I can maybe offer up some personal development from lifestyle stories, and some ideas on how to, move through life. That's my concept. So I'm not always necessarily trying to teach you something. A lot of the times I'm just trying to come up with funny stuff, or I'm trying to say the thing that I think will be funny for you, right? So it's a little bit different, but you'll find those nuances and you'll work through those nuances as you start to do the thing. So when you're initially starting to do a podcast and that's what you really want to do, and you just have fun with it, start as a hobby and build from there. You don't have to go to the top of the charts right away. And most likely you won't, because what a lot of people, I think, forget is that a lot of the podcasts that are at the top are not like you or I. They're not sitting in their basement or their closet or whatever recording their podcast. They have a business and a studio and agents and people behind them, a marketing team behind them that are going to push that marketing. Okay. You're not at that level, and that's fine. Everybody has to start somewhere. So don't overthink. Don't stop yourself from doing something because you figure that your idea is bad. Your idea is only bad if you let it be bad. Okay. Because people will listen to anything. I'm sure you've watched a bunch of podcasts where you're like, what the hell? I could do this better. Right? I know you've thought that, because I've definitely thought that. There's a lot of podcasts that I watch or listen to or watch that I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish I was as good as them. And then there's others where I'm like, I can't believe people listen to this. People are going to think the same for you. That's what's going to happen. So just don't worry about that. Just do your thing. The only thing that you have to worry about is the subject matter that you want to talk about and presenting it in a way that will keep people's attention. That's it. And it's not going to work the first time. It may not work till the 50th time. But if you just keep plugging away, do that. Then the next step, like I said, is consistency. So start off, this is my opinion, again, just from 5 years of experience of doing this, this is my opinion. Start with one a week. Pick a day of the week and go that way. You can do all the research you want, and the research will tell you this. If you pick a Friday, that's a bad time. I put mine out on Friday. I don't care if it's a bad time. The reason that they say it's a bad time is because a lot of like album releases, movie releases, entertainment releases are all coming out on the same time, and it overshadows what you're doing. Don't worry about that. Just do it. Pick your day and do it. They say that Monday's a bad time because everybody is now talking about what happened on the weekend. Well, you know what? If you go by these ideas of what is a good and bad time, you're never going to put it out. They say Wednesday's the best because that's the middle. It's hump day. So everybody needs something new to feed their interest or feed their attention. Just pick the day that works best for you. Pick a day to record. If you start with a short amount of time, like I said, I started with 15 minutes, and some of the episodes in years like 2 and 3 went like an hour and a half if I had other people with me, like not a co-host, but like a guest, I guess. And just vary it. You got to try different things. You got to see if that 15-minute works. You got to see if the 2 hours works. You got to see what works for you, because based on what you do, your personality, your content, the way you present it, it could be totally different. So you can listen to all these different guidelines that the industry says you should do, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work best for you. So just do it the way that you feel best doing it. Like I try to record when my kids are out of the house, because obviously if sometimes I'm smoking weed and that I don't want them around it. So I try to do it whenever I get the chance and they're out of the house. I'll try to record a few in a day. And just do it that way. You may get bogged down with time, but that's also why I say before you release anything, before you start your channel, what you should do is have 5 ready to go. And then that way you have a month and a week before you have to produce more episodes. Right? I think that's probably one of the best ways to go. And that's one of the things that I've refined over the 5 years, is that I will record so that I can release automatically. And I'm not necessarily stressing out about getting the next episode done. But that essentially is how simple podcasting is. It's simple. Not everybody's going to make it huge. Not everybody's going to have a huge impact or the impact that they think they're going to have. But if you do it for fun and you do it for the people that do keep coming back to listen to you, then you're going to have a good time. You're not going to get worn out. those are my thoughts off the stem for this week. I hope it helped you out if you're trying to start a podcast. I hope that I gave you some good ideas. And again, look in the description for all the places that you can host your podcast. I'll put the I'll put the websites in there. And yeah, I hope you come back next week, because then we'll have episode 2 of this series, which is going to be about the things that I've learned during podcasting. So I'll give you a little bit more technical information. That's right. So I hope you come back next week. I hope you enjoyed the sesh. I hope life's being good to you. Check out tots420.com for some weed blogs and some fun stuff, and check out the rest of the catalog for, a happy time, fun time, good time for you. Until next time, keep your lids low, baby.